it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another round of 16 of Battle Royale 2, and today we have got Midnight Train to Georgia, Gladys Knight and the Pips, put in by Terry Wilson, and The Who's My Generation, put in by N Blanche 2. First out the hat was Midnight Train to Georgia. And of course this is a very famous song performed by Gladys Knight and the Pips off their second album, Imagination, from 1973. Now there's a little bit of history with this song. It was originally written and performed by Jim Weatherly under the title Midnight Plane to Houston, which he recorded on Jimmy Bowen's Amos Records. And it is based actually on a conversation that Jimmy had about taking a midnight plane to Houston. And he said he actually wrote it as a country song, but then he sent it to a guy called Sonny Limbo in Atlanta, and he wanted to cut it with Sissy Houston, and he asked if he minded changing the title to Midnight Train to Georgia, which Jimmy agreed to, but just don't change the rest of the song. Now, in an interview with Gary James, Weatherly later stated that the phone conversation in question had been with Farrah Fawcett, and he and Farrah Fawcett and her friend Lee Majors, whom she had just started dating at the time, and it's sort of based on there. Now, Weatherly was sort of involved in university football as a quarterback at Mississippi. He went to, and NFL didn't work out for him, but he was in a rec football team with Lee Majors, so they knew each other. Now, obviously, one night Jimmy phoned Lee Majors, and Farrah Fawcett answered the phone, and she asked what she was doing, and she says she was taking the midnight plane to Houston to visit her family. And he thought, what a catchy phrase for a song. And then that's how he ended up writing the song. So it did go to Sissy Houston first, and it was released in 1973. Her version can also be found on her album Midnight Train to Georgia, The Janus Years. And it was on the reissue of her 1970 debut album presenting Sissy Houston. When Gladys Knight changed record companies from Motown to Buddha Records, a company with a broader appeal, Weatherly's publisher forwarded the Houston version to Gladys Knight and the Pips, and they decided to keep the Midnight Train to Georgia but change the character of the song. Tony Camillo and Ed Stavesman recorded and produced the Al Green inspired instrumental backing using a basic band setup. The vocal recording introduced Knight to an ad-libbing towards the end and assisted by her brother. The Pips feature, of course, prominently in the call and response aspect of the song. So yes, it had a bit of history, this one. Did quite well in the charts, both in America and in UK. There's another little bit here. In her autobiography, Between Each Line of Pain, Gladys wrote that she hoped the song was comfort to many of those thousands who come each year from elsewhere to Los Angeles, realise the dream of being in motion pictures, television or music, but then fail to realise the dream and plunge into despair. Now, in 1999, this song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. It currently ranks at 147 on the Rolling Stones updated list of their 500 greatest songs of all time. So there's a little bit of history on Midnight Train to Georgia. So up against them today, from N Blanche 2, is The Who's My Generation. Now, it's a song written by Pete Townsend, and it is probably one of the most recognised Records by The Who. It was released here in the UK as a single in 1965, reaching number 2 and number 74 in the States, but it also appeared on the debut album and in America on The Who Sings My Generation. Now, Pete Townsend reported that the song he wrote on a train and is said to be inspired by Her Majesty the Queen Mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II's mum, who alleged to have had Townsend's 1935 Packard hearse towed off during her daily drive through the neighbourhood. Don't know how true that is, but Pete also credited Moose Allison's Young Man Blues as the inspiration for the song because of the hand claps. And in an interview, Kit Lambert said in 1971 that he recommended the studio to the group, and the producer was there's credit, but the actual guy that did the work on it was Felix Paparadi, and the take actually features Mountain bandmate Leslie West on lead guitar. So who does play the guitar solo on the track? Who knows? It has been covered by a few people. The song was first covered in a distinctive soul style by LaBelle on their 1972 album Moonshadow. Eddie Van Halen covered it on a Van Halen concert where he arranged the synthesizer to play the guitar. A live recording of this is on live here right now. Other people that have recorded it have been Axel Rudy Pell on Diamonds Unlocked, and Hayseed Dixie on the Killer Grass cover the song in the styles of one being metal and bluegrass. Also, Richie Havens has covered this on his 2008 album Nobody Left to Crown, playing the song at a slower tempo than the original. But the original song lyrics have still distilled as a statement of youthful rebellion. The song's melody and composition is considered the forebearer to punk rock, and is one of the most quoted and patently rewritten lines in rock history. And the other one is, I hope I die before I get old, which was famously sneered by lead singer Roger Daltrey. Just like the most of The Who's earlier mod output, the song showcases influence of American rhythm and blues, and most explicitly in the call and response of the verses between Daltrey, who would sing one line, and the backing vocals done by Pete and John. Pete doing the low harmony and John doing the high harmony, and the response was, of course, talking about my generation. So 2 songs here that have got a lot of history behind them. You've got the conversation between Farrah Fawcett and Jimmy Weatherly, and then you've got the Queen Mother having Pete Townsend's hearse pulled away, and then you've got Kit Lambert getting them in the studio, and then you've got Leslie West allegedly playing some of the guitar, produced by Felix Paparaldi from Mountain as well. So both songs have got lots of little pieces and history to them songs. So good luck to both Terry and M Blanche too on this one. If you go to the community page, the poll will be already up. Dave has put it up, so he puts the link so you can go to where we do the voting. It'll be in the description box of this video, and you have a week to do the voting because it closes at a minute to midnight next Wednesday UK time, and Dave will announce who wins this next Thursday. Okay, coming up next is Pick and Mix, and we've got an old favourite coming back, but under a different name, Painting by Numbers, but basically it's album cover ranking, because I do like my album covers. Since we've stopped it, I've run so many different bands with more interesting covers, and it was about time we brought it back. So that's what's happening next. So join me for that later. Bye for now.